I'm Victoria Pearson, but you can call me V. And as I think I said in a previous video, I have been a practicing witch for about 25 years-ish. I'm not sure exactly. Long enough to make me feel really old and haggard anyway. I did a video right near the beginning of when I was doing my videos, actually, probably about 6 or 8 months ago, that was all about my altar setup. Not every witch has an altar, and every witch's altar will have different things on it, and different witches change their altars throughout the year. Some of them change them 8 times a year on each of the spokes of the wheel of the year on all of our different holidays and celebrations. I'm a lazy witch though, so I tend to change mine about twice a year. Once for the winter months and once for the summer months. I showed you my winter setup last time. I'm going to show you my summer setup this time. Now this is my altar setup as it is at the moment. It is right next to my bed, so it's a little bit difficult for me to film in there. But I talked you through a lot of this last time. The only things that I think I've added since my previous video, which I will try and remember to link in the description, are these. These were made for me by a friend. I think that they're absolutely adorable. Friend definitely knows my style. Probably didn't know that I then decided that these would make a great representation of Hades and Persephone, to represent the goddess and the god, duality of man, feminine energy and masculine energy together in balance. I like to have something like that on my altar, and when my friend made these for me, I just thought, that's adorable. I'm going to make them the goddess and the god, and the masculine and the feminine energy and whatnot. But they are very winter looking, hence my deciding that they would be Hades and Persephone, because they look kind of a bit dead. And so I don't think that they're very summer vibes, so I'm probably going to switch them out this time. Everything else I think I already talked through, except possibly this, which is a little spell working that I had on there. This is an offering that I'm pretty sure I showed you at the time. And I went through what everything else represents before on my last video. So what I'm going to do now is stop talking, take this down, and then we will wash the altar top before we start to put other things on it. Or back on it even. I haven't decided yet. So I'm just going to move these to the shelves above for now. Which is a reason that I like having my altar as a shelf. Then I can use the shelves above to store everything. You can probably see where I've got a lot of things stored up there. I love this chalice as well. I got it as a Twanta gift, which is Twitter Secret Santa. And I don't know, it's so me. And again, I'm sure that the person that gave me this did not realise that I was going to be using it on my altar, but they just so happened to give me it after I had broken my last chalice that I had made for myself. And again, because I like Hades and Persephone, especially in the winter, I do my altar to Hades and Persephone and work with them a lot. And so I felt that this had the floral side of Persephone and the skull side of Hades, and I really, really liked that combo. This is a little ammonite that I got on holiday, and I think I'm going to reuse that for my water this time around as well. I also collected these stones on holiday, different holidays each time. Can you see that it's got a hole all the way through it? Hagstones, they're supposed to be good luck, and apparently if you whisper your wishes into there, then fairy people will hear them and maybe grant them. But I don't know, I've always been taught that fairy people are just a little bit scary, so I'm not sure I want them knowing about my wishes after all. This is my raven, Poe. He was holding his feathers apparently. That was just me realising that I didn't quite have enough space for everything where I planned to put it. So now we've removed everything from the altar, we can take this altar cloth off as well. And we've got a nice clear surface to start with. So now the altar surface is clear. Something that I did just do without showing you is that I moved this guy, who is a Halloween decoration. He was hanging on the back of my altar after Halloween, but we're going to tuck him away until next Halloween now, I guess. So I've got my nice clean surface. I've just got myself a white cloth and I am cleaning it with some of my holy water. I actually think that my light is too bright for you to see that says holy water, or even to see my little symbol on top of it. I think I told you last time how to make this, but I'll tell you again. You just get some distilled water, spring water, even tap water will work. Rainwater is the best. Leave it out in the full moon overnight to charge up. I sometimes pop a clear quartz crystal on top to magnify the energies of that, and I often add in a little bit of sacred salt, but you don't have to do that. I use this for cleansing rooms, for cleansing my altar, sometimes even add it to my bath water if I need a little boost. It's just a good all-rounder. And so I'm just using a white cloth with some of that holy water in to wipe away all the energies from the dark half of the year and welcome in the springtime. And we'll just let that air dry. Now, usually in the spring or summer, I would use this pretty floral altar cloth, and I would do a similar setup to what I did for my winter altar just there. This year, I don't know why I fancy doing something a little bit different. I feel drawn to a very white, calm altar with a lot of crystals, which is new for me. As an altar cloth this year, I wanted something white, and I didn't have anything white altar cloth wise, but I did have a spare white pillowcase, so I'm going to be using that. You don't actually even need an altar cloth. I just do it as a sort of visual reminder that this is a special space. If you were really good about this sort of thing, you'd iron that. I don't do ironing. I love myself too much to iron things. I'm just going to put my holy water away. Goes on the shelf above. And so now we've got the nice fresh white surface to start us off. Oh, I needed that holy water still, because usually to represent water in the summertime, I would use a shell like this, one that I have collected myself from our little beach trips. But like I said, I want to keep it simple this year. So to represent water in the western area of the altar, I'm just going to take a really plain little shot glass. I've only actually got one of these, so it's sort of special in that respect, I suppose. I'm going to fill it with my holy water and pop that in the western side. I nearly put it in the northern bit. I mean, my altar doesn't exactly correspond to the compass points, but it's close enough. It's close enough that it doesn't mind. So I've got my little glass of water there. Can you see that? Yes, you can. So I've got my little glass of water then, and it is very pale. It is quite new, and I really, really like it. This little ammonite that I got on holiday, I'm going to pop that there with it as well, just because it feels right. I do it very instinctively, very intuitively. We do what feels right. Now, keeping on with the white theme, I would usually put a stone, probably one of these sort of hagstones, in as my earth element. I'm sorry, I keep peeking at the side there, but I thought you'd most want to see this. But one of the witch's tools that corresponds with earth as an element is the pestle and mortar, and I happen to have a little white one of those that I do use for witchcraft. One of my children got me a nicer big wooden one that I use more often now because it fits a little more in, but I do still use this one. Pestle and mortars do represent the earth element because they're where you do your magical weapons. So they're basically working as your pentagram on your altar. That'll make more sense if you're pagan, I suppose. Another thing that always represents earth is salt. And I happen to have some cute pink Himalayan salt here, but any kind of salt would work. I have this little sachet of it that I'm going to pour into the pestle and mortar to act as a sort of salt bowl. Because it looks pretty, it's more representative of the earth element, and also because salt bowls tend to absorb negativity in that way. That's in the sort of northern part of my altar because north is associated with earth. I could add some more stuff in there. I could pile some stones around it and stuff. I'm not going to, partly because my altar is going to be more crystal focused this year, and those are associated with earth anyway, but also because for some reason, I don't know why, I just feel drawn to having a really plain altar this year, really calm and soothing space for springtime. So again, for the fire element, I am just going to take a white candle, pop that in the southern sort of sphere of the altar, and decide that that's done. There are other things that you can use to represent fire instead. You can use your wand or things like that. But like I say, I'm going really simple this year and really calm with it. But I do like to have all 4 of the elements on my altar and something to represent duality. So I've got my pestle and mortar for earth, my water and my ammonite for water. I've got my candle for fire. Now I need something for air. As you saw before, I had Poe, my raven, representation of bird there with some black feathers that were dropped by local crows. This time I am going to add in these. They looks like pampas grass there actually. Let me separate them out so you can see better. These are white peacock feathers. I got them as part of a craft kit years and years ago, never used them. They're looking a bit tatty because I have used them here before, but they're really swooshy, really white, really sort of elegant little things. And so I'm going to use those for my air element this year and just pop them there. So that's the 4 elements that are on. Oh, actually, as well as the feathers, I wanted something else. Because you see we've got the 2 things here, I wanted the 2 things there as well. And also this bell that I've got. Bells represent air because of the sound. And this one's really clear crystal. It was also, I inherited this from my husband's grandmother. She was very dear to me. And so it's sort of an ancestor worship thing as well. Although I don't think she'd particularly like that because she was a Christian. But I think that just gives a little bit of balance there. And I think it looks really pretty. So I'm happy with that. So another element that I like to have, let me move that out of your shot because it's kind of detracting from the cool, clean crispness. So as you can see, I've got my 4 elements here as well. Something that I like to have on all of my altars as well as that is some kind of representation of duality, of male and female, masculine and feminine energies, of balance, day and night. And that's what I was using these little dudes for through winter. So I have another gift this year that I was given for my birthday. They've been on my wish list for a little while because I just thought that they were adorable. And it's these 2 little angel statues. I can only show you one at once, I think. So there's this one and then this one. They're basically the same. One of them is made of rose quartz and one of them is made of amethyst. The reason that I wanted the rose quartz and the amethyst was because amethyst is my birthstone and rose quartz is all about self-love and developing love within yourself, and that is really what my soul song's about this year, this summer. I'm really working on reparenting myself and working on learning to love myself and working on learning to take care of myself and not give so much of myself to other people that there's nothing left for me. And so that seemed like a really important one this year. And then amethyst as well is a very protective stone as well as being my birthstone, and I liked the darkness of it to contrast nicely with that pink. I don't know how well you can see it on the white background, but I really like that. So that's my representation of the goddess and the god this year. And behind those I am going to put this big amethyst geode that was another gift actually. A lot of my things are gifts. I actually think they need to scooch forward a little bit. I was thinking about it, I'm going to make a circle around them, I think, just to act as a little backdrop for them. And that's starting to look really pretty already. Still very simple, but I like very simple. I think we're going for very simple this year. So I have some naturally polished rose quartz chunks here. I actually bought these. I bought them a while ago because I was doing a love spell for a friend and I needed some rose quartzes. pieces for it. I wanted little chips, but they were massive and they came out so nice, and they've got such a lovely energy about them, and so I really like that. So I'm going to just create almost a magic circle around the center here, just to help amplify those energies. You might notice that I'm going around clockwise. That's just me. I like to work clockwise when I'm creating energy, counterclockwise when I'm removing energy from a situation. Where should we put this last one here, I think? Because I'm trying to create an altar here to amplify self-love, not just for myself, but for everybody in my family, in my household, and who I come across in my day-to-day life. And I want people coming away from me thinking, that lady's got such a loving energy. I feel so peaceful and calm when I'm around her, because that is the energy that I want to put out into the world. Now, with the rest of my crystals, I wasn't sure at first if I was going to use them all. I do think the altar looks a little plain, so I might do some. So what I'm going to do is take my clear quartz crystal tip, which I love. I use this to amplify moonlight on top of my holy water jars, things like that. I'm going to pick off the dog hair that has appeared and I'm going to pop that in the middle to amplify all of those things. It's a very amplifying sort of energy to it. And then, do you know, I was going to put a lot of crystals out. I'm not sure I'm going to now. Oh, I have another piece of clear quartz though, so I think I'll pop that in there too. And then I think what I'm going to do is, rather than use all of my crystals and sort of scatter them out as I did intend to, I think I'm going to take a few of them, like this carnelian and tiger's eye. This is a beautiful bit of tiger's eye. I'm going to put them with the fire element, maybe a bit of red jasper as well there, because they're sort of fiery kind of crystals, fiery colours. I've got some sea glass, which I collected on the beach. I love the beach, it's my happy space. I'm going to pop that with the water, and I have forgotten what this is called, but it's a milky blue sort of watery colour. I'm going to pop that there too. And then in my earth corner, I will pop some more earthy coloured stones. That's another carnelian, I think. I'm going to put some amber in there as well, because that's very earthy tones too. And because amber is sort of representative of death in a way, and the rebirth that comes from within death, and that when we die we go to the earth to decompress from life, to decompose, to let everything go so that we can come together again. And so that's a very earthy stone. And then I've also got this little one, which again is a piece of jasper, but it's got orange, green and brown tones in it, so it's very earthy as well. I'm going to pop that there. And then we need some stones that are going to represent air. That's mostly like clear quartzes, to be honest, and I've already used some of those, but I have a tiny little chip of quartz there that I can put in. And I'm going to go for some beautiful milky blue ones to put in there as well, very airy colours, and this tiny little piece of quartz, which you can't really see wonderfully well, to be honest, but it's a nice sort of milky, airy, cloudy look to it. And so now each of those have got either 3 crystals or 3 things, my ammonite or my water instead of a crystal, but I think that that is okay. I've got some more rose quartz here. Let's pop that in as well. So that looks nice and pretty. For fire I could use the pyrite, but I don't think I'm going to. I don't think I'm going to use any more of these crystals. I'm going to pop them all back in now. So they're a little pouchy thing. It keeps them from absorbing too many energies. And that is looking pretty much okay. It feels all right to me. There aren't any hard and fast rules when it comes to things like this. It's done when it feels like it's done. I want to have a rose quartz pendant hanging down from there. I do have one of those. It's ever so pretty. I use it as a pendulum from time to time. I also use it as a necklace from time to time. I don't know, I have tried to hang things from the shelf with blue tack, like the shelf above, to hang down before. It did not work very well, and so what I'm going to do is wrap it around something up here, I think. What can I wrap you around? You seem heavy enough. We want that centered, so I'm going to jiggle it about until it looks right. Where do we want you? About there, I think. I don't know, does that look central to you? It seems central to me. I like that setup, I'm happy with it. I'll probably leave it like that until we're going back into winter again. But if at some point it feels right to change it again, I'll change it again. Not a problem. Just thought you might like a slightly closer look. So here's my fire elements, my air elements, my water elements. Can't really see the sea glass there still. My earth elements, my goddess and god representation, and my spell working, which is the crystal circle, complete with the wildly swinging crystal point. I'm not sure if I've bashed that or if it's just because the energy's going on. We like that. I will probably burn some incense over here now and do a little sound cleanse. So this is my finished altar for the summer. I hope that you've enjoyed having a look at my setup. It isn't very traditional. A lot of my practice isn't very traditional. In Wicca, paganism, witchcraft, that's okay. It's all about what you feel. And so at the moment this feels right for me, and so this is how it's going to be. Join me on Monday, 6 AM UK time, for my next vlog. I'm going to be honest, I haven't looked at my schedule and I've forgotten what the next one's going to be about, but I think we're getting close to Mother's Day in the UK, and so we might well be talking about reparenting your inner child, how to do it, what your inner child even is, what the benefits are to it, how it's going to make you happier. If you can't wait till then to see me, I understand. I will be here every morning telling you what I'm grateful for, taking a great big deep breath to start my day off right. I warmly encourage you to join me because it does make you feel so much better. And law of attraction, you know, the more that you see around you that you're grateful for, the more you acknowledge that is making you happy, the more of those things you're going to notice as you go through your daily life. And I will also be here on Tuesday, assuming that I haven't killed him yet, checking in with Dave, my terrarium, to see if he's gone mouldy or just died yet. I don't know, I don't think he's getting enough light at the moment. I really hope he survives that long. Until then, you have yourself a magical week.